Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into something pretty unexpected today.
Right. It's not every day your source material is a tabletop role-playing game adventure from NASA.
Exactly. NASA.
Yeah.
The game's called The Lost Universe, and that's our source for this deep dive.
And the basic idea is players from Earth get zapped over to this rogue planet, Exlaris.
Yeah, a rogue planet. But it's not just standard fantasy fare, is it?
Not at all. I mean, yes, you've got elves, orcs, the usual fantasy races, but their whole world runs on something they call energy of the vacuum. That's their magic.
And the whole adventure starts because something vital from Earth is missing. Something huge.
The Hubble Space Telescope, just
Yeah.
gone from our timeline in the game's setup.
Wild. So our mission here is to really dig into how this game mixes actual complex science with fantasy tropes.
Yeah, what makes that blend work? Why is it so, compelling? It's a really creative way to look at big cosmic ideas.
Okay, so let's start with the setting itself. Solaris, a rogue planet, you said.
Yeah, wandering through space all alone. But it didn't start out that way.
Right, something happened.
About 400 years ago, yeah. They call it the breaking. Basically, a black hole swung by too close.
A black hole.
Uh-huh. Messed up its orbit completely, flung it out of its solar system. Total chaos.
Okay, that sounds bad. Like extinction level event bad.
You'd think so. But the people there, the Ixlari, they adapted. They figured out how to tap into this energy of the vacuum.
Ah, the magic source again.
Exactly. They used it to make a planetary shield, believe it or not, and perpetual light in cities and farms mimicking day and night.
So they lost their sun, essentially, and just made new light sources with magic.
Kind of, yeah. And interestingly, their whole society shifted. Knowledge, academic study that became the top priority.
So no kings or queens, but like head scientists running things.
Pretty much. Leaders are academics. You've got these 5 big cities, each focused on a different field. Aldestron for astrophysics, Zerthilios for solar science, Besca Perea for biology.
Palaradin for planetary science and Arketnum for aeronautics.
Okay, got it.
And the adventure starts in Aldastron, the astrophysics city.
Right. Travel between them is mostly magic portals. But outside those lit-up cities, dark, dangerous, classic fantasy wilds, but with a scientific twist.
Okay, so science is magic there. What kicks off the plot? Why bring Earthlings into it?
It starts with disappearances. Top researchers from the Aldastron Observatory just vanished.
And these weren't just any researchers.
No, they were the ones studying the big stuff. Rogue planets, black holes, and especially that vacuum energy that powers everything. They were trying to figure out their own world, basically.
And somehow they connected this to Earth.
Yeah. One researcher, Eirik Haas, he developed a spell, a way to link to Earth and copy data.
Why Earth?
He saw Earth, specifically its history before the breaking happened to Exlaris, as a kind of template, a baseline. He was super interested in Hubble.
Because Hubble studied black holes and dark energy, things related to their vacuum energy.
Precisely. But then, poof.
Yeah.
Hubble vanishes from Earth's timeline, as if it never existed.
Oh, man.
Ah.
Okay.
So the players, you, come from this Hubble-less Earth. The Exluri researchers, right before they got nabbed themselves, feared their magic caused it, so they cast one last spell.
To bring people who knew about Hubble from Earth to help.
Exactly. A desperate call for help across dimensions just before they disappeared too.
Wow. Okay, so you're ripped from your reality, dropped onto a magic planet powered by vacuum energy because scientists accidentally might have broken time. That's quite a hook.
It really is, and it sets up this amazing exploration of real science concepts disguised as fantasy. Let's talk about that energy of the vacuum.
Okay. In the game, it's magic fuel. Planetary shields, city lights, spells. But it's unstable, not fully understood.
Right. And in our universe, vacuum energy is tied to dark energy. You know, the stuff making up maybe 68% of the universe.
The force speeding up cosmic expansion, that mystery.
That exact mystery. Einstein sort of hinted empty space could have energy. Quantum theory suggests it should have loads of energy, from particles popping in and out of existence.
But there's a problem with that calculation, isn't there? A big one.
Oh, yeah. Massive. The theoretical amount of energy is like 10 to the power of 120 times bigger than what we actually observe driving the expansion.
10 with 120 zeros. That's absurdly wrong.
It's one of the biggest mismatches in physics, yeah. They call it the cosmological constant problem. There are other ideas like quintessence or maybe modifying gravity.
Yeah.
But like the Exlari, we basically just need more data.
So it's a real parallel. Scientists here and magic users there, both wrestling with this mysterious energy in empty space. That's clever.
It really grounds the fantasy element in a genuine scientific puzzle, and they do something similar with gravitational lensing.
Right. In the game, it's like a magic spyglass
Right.
or way to see hidden things, solve puzzles.
Yeah, like using a lens, the game says. But in reality, gravitational lensing is this amazing effect of general relativity. Massive objects like galaxy clusters literally bend space-time.
And light follows that curve.
Exactly. Light from stuff behind the massive object gets bent and magnified, acting like a natural telescope. Hubble uses it to see super distant, faint galaxies we couldn't otherwise. You sometimes see those cool Einstein rings.
So a real cosmic phenomenon becomes a magic tool in the game.
Nice. Yeah. They even use redshift and blueshift in a puzzle. Identifying older or cooler paths based on light waves stretching or compressing.
Another real concept measuring distance and movement by how light shifts turned into a game mechanic. They really integrated the science.
They did. Which brings us to the villain. And even the villain's motive fits the world. It's not about gold.
No. What then?
Knowledge. Specifically knowledge about vacuum energy and Hubble.
Ah. And the villain is?
Asilius. A young green dragon, but a very academic dragon, apparently.
A dragon scientist. Okay, that's different.
Well, a greedy one. Asilius stole Irix's spell, transported Hubble to Xlaris, and grabbed the researchers to force them to make it work there, all to control that knowledge.
So the final goal for the players is rescue the scientists, stop the dragon.
And get Hubble back to Earth to fix the timeline. The game really emphasizes why Hubble is so important.
Yeah, you mentioned its discoveries, age of the universe, black holes, other galaxies.
And the practical stuff, too. The servicing missions pioneered spacewalking tech needed for the ISS. Hubble tech gets used in medicine, archaeology, conservation.
It really did change things and paved the way for Webb and the Roman telescope. Losing it would be catastrophic for science.
Absolutely. So in this game, the fate of Earth's scientific understanding rests on adventurers on a magic planet fighting a knowledge-hoarding dragon.
It's such a unique concept, taking these huge abstract ideas from astronomy, dark energy, lensing, rogue planets, and just weaving them right into a fantasy story with magic and dragons.
It really works, doesn't it? It taps into that wonder about the universe's mysteries, whether it's called magic or dark energy. That sense of a powerful unseen force is there.
And it makes you think about the real science in a new way. It's like a fun mental exercise.
Right.
Makes the cosmos feel a bit more magical, maybe.
Yeah. Or makes magic feel a bit more cosmic. It definitely sparks creativity.
It really does. It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
how else could you frame cosmic mysteries as fantasy?
Right. Like, what if dark matter wasn't just invisible mass, but, I don't know, some kind of ethereal cosmic entity holding galaxies together?
Or maybe gravity is literally a spell. The possibilities are endless when you start looking at science through that lens.
It's a fascinating intersection.
Well, this has been a really cool deep dive into the lost universe. Definitely not your typical source material, but incredibly thought-provoking. Thanks for digging this one up.
My pleasure. It was fun exploring how NASA imagines science as magic.
And thank you, our listener, for joining us on this trip to Xlaris. It leaves us with a question to ponder. What other scientific mysteries out there are just waiting to be turned into the next great fantasy adventure? Something to think about until next time.